everyone, I'm Yin, and I'm the founder and CEO of Dirt. So I first heard about the cryptocurrency space back in 2013, and back then you really just had Bitcoin. Now there's entire new ecosystems being built out. You have Ethereum, you have new blockchains like Oasis, you have privacy tokens, you have decentralized exchanges. And for a lot of these projects, in order to raise funding, they often do it through an ICO. You can think of an ICO, which is initial coin offering, as similar to an IPO with one big difference in that there's no regulation. The amount of funding raised through ICOs increased 60x in 2017. It went from little over maybe 60 million to over 5 billion in just 1 year. And it's not slowing down. In the first quarter of this year, more funding was raised through ICOs than in all of 2017 combined. The problem, because the space is unregulated, is that with a lot of these companies, you can really raise millions of dollars on little more than a promise. So this is a useful infographic that can teach you how to raise an ICO if anyone is interested. You effectively come up with an idea, raise some funding, and then the last step is profit. The problem, because the space is unregulated, is that fraud and plagiarism is a huge issue. White papers often steal content from other legitimate projects. The SEC has stepped in on a few cases to regulate this space, but given the number of companies that are coming up and raising funding, it's really hard to keep up. Today, if you want to raise funding, there is no basic set of disclosures that are required. Basic information such as the team or audited financials are mostly not available. So with any new financial network, you tend to have a new information network that rises at the same time. When we think about private equity, there's PitchBook. For the public markets, you have Bloomberg. But for the cryptocurrency space, this is largely missing. So the question that we wondered was, how can you find trusted data for the cryptocurrency space when crypto is very different than other markets? It's by default unregulated, it's international, and it's listed, cross-listings are the standard. So today, to find reliable information, we often go to this site. It's CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap is like the Yahoo Finance for the cryptocurrency space. It is the #2 site in finance, second only to Yahoo Finance, and ahead of Fidelity. It's a private company, but rumors are that it made over 100 million last year on advertising and other activities. Today, it serves as a benchmark index for cryptocurrency prices. Many hedge funds often look towards CoinMarketCap and mark to market and calculate their profits based on the numbers on CoinMarketCap. But there's one big problem, and the problem is a lot of the data on CMC is actually not correct. So we have this entire new financial market, but a lack of reliable information. So this is the profile page for Bitcoin. If we look at the leading website, it actually links to a site on Bitcoin Cash. It's unclear how different token projects can be added to CoinMarketCap. You apply to join the site and take weeks, if not months, to finally be added. So if you're a new token project wanting to share with users what you're building, it's really hard to join the site. The average price of a token is more of an art rather than a science. Because cross-listings across exchanges, it's actually hard to know what different set of exchanges you should pull prices from. The circulating supply affects the market cap of different tokens. Whether you're on the first page of CoinMarketCap matters for how you trade. And we really saw the influence of CoinMarketCap this year. This was back in January. So it tends to be that Korean markets trade 20 to 30% higher than average. There's what's called a kimchi premium. It's really hard to get Korean won out of the country. So for a lot of these tokens, Korea is a great market. But the problem is CoinMarketCap decided in Korea to remove Korean markets from the average price calculation. So what it looked like was that in a single day, $35 billion just dropped from the cryptocurrency market out of thin air. Some tokens like Ripple crashed 20 billion in a single moment. And what's shocking is that nothing tangible had actually changed. The only thing that was different was the perception of prices. Headlines at the leading financial papers indicate there's a crash in the cryptocurrency markets. This leads to general panic selling and an actual secondary crash that took weeks for that information. So with Dirt, we're building a protocol for decentralized validation of trusted data. And what we do is we create a set of rules that make it economically irrational for a lie to persist in the system. For those of you that's been in crypto for a while, you may be familiar with the concept of a token curated registry. A token curated registry is effectively just a list, and token holders decide what is on this list. So the way it works is in order to share any information to this list, you need to deposit tokens. That's your skin in the game. That's your sign to the world that this information is correct. If anyone finds misinformation in the network, they can deposit tokens to challenge that. If there's a challenge, it leads to a vote. Anyone can then vote with tokens. One token, one vote. If you win the vote, then you earn tokens. If you lose the vote, then you lose your stake. So with these set of rules, you create an incentive for people to be moderators in the system, and you discourage folks from lying and misrepresenting information. So with DIRT, we're not building a token curated registry. Rather, we're a protocol for TCRs. And we allow anyone to build a database of information that is decentrally curated and can also be trusted. What we've designed for our series of smart contracts is to make it adaptable to different types of information. One of the tricky parts with a lot of these projects with crypto economics is that it's actually really hard to know what's going to work unless you actually launch. So with DIRT, we have an adaptable set of parameters. For some data sets, you want a really high stake to share information so that every writer has more skin in the game, so they have more to lose if they're being dishonest. For other types of data, you want there to be a low stake so that there's a greater velocity of challenges and voting to ensure that the information stays upvoted. For some types of data, you can have a public vote style. For others, you can have a private vote. And with our protocol, you can test different types of TCRs to see what will be the ones that generate the most useful data sets. So we're starting with curating useful and reliable information about the cryptocurrency space because today that doesn't exist. But really, this protocol can be used across many use cases. DIRT is a protocol that makes it economically irrational for misinformation to persist. It's also a system that's decentralized. So in any ecosystem where you don't trust a centralized curator, which today is in the crypto space, or it could be political information, such as looking at the exchange rate of the Bolivia and Venezuela, DIRT is a valuable alternative. So like many of the other companies here today, we are also hiring. So if you're interested in building the data layer for Ethereum, we'll love to chat.